welcome back to another episode of Goal Getters. I'm your host, John. Scott is on vacation, so it's me alone, and Julio's still playing softball. So it'll be me. Scott's in the wild somewhere, Robin. Yeah, Robin's here, of course, my wife and producer and all that. You'll be hearing from her later when Robin's questions come up. Let's see real quick before I bring our guest in. Hey, Chris, how's it going, buddy? Let me tell you what we have today. It couldn't be any more perfect timing with what is going on in Cleveland. Cleveland is almost like the center of everything that's happening in a lot of ways. My guest is John Suchan. John is a writer, FanSided, Dog Pound Daily, King James Gospel, ClevelandSportsTalk.com. He has his own podcast, which is Johnny Cleveland Podcast. And you can find that anywhere you find your podcast. Let's bring him in. Hey, Jeff.
Hello.
How you doing?
How are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming in. Like I was saying, like Cleveland is the center of attention a lot lately because
always and forever.
Yeah, well, the Guardians are good. They're in first place.
Yes.
We know what's going on with the Browns, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But the thing that the Cavaliers jumped up and got themselves a hell of a young guy in Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
And I want to hear what you think about it. Were you surprised or what? And what are your thoughts?
Yes. Yeah, a bit surprised. I wrote an article this morning for King James Gospel. 3 reasons why this is a slam dunk move. And I mean, he's a great player. And I know there's a lot of folks here in Cleveland who, the Colin Sexton, he was, injured for a majority of the season. There was a lot of talk about would they be bringing him back, and then they kind of gave him a deal that wasn't great. And so now this happens. And so Colin goes to Utah along with a couple other players. And some people have said, well, there's not much difference because, they're similar in scoring and they both are, power scorers like that. But, Mitchell's an all-star. Mitchell's taken his team to the playoffs 5 or 6 times. So this is a big deal. This is huge. The biggest move since LeBron made the last his big decision again. So I'm not sure if LeBron's going to come back a 3rd time, but the Cavs are building such a core nucleus of young talent. They're all under the age of 25. I think Mitchell's turning 26 here soon, but you got Garland, you got Evan Mobley now. I mean, I've said since the beginning of last year that Evan Mobley was really the difference maker and really what propelled that team to really they were up ranked number 2 in the standings in mid-February. They kind of slid a little bit. I have my differences of opinion with their coach, Coach JB Bickerstaff, but we could get into that some other time. But no, this is a great move. As long as I think there's been some questions today about chemistry and the fact that Donovan Mitchell is such a power scorer. He averaged 28 points in the playoffs. He can take over a game if he needs to. And the nice thing about the Cavs team last year was that they really did work the ball around, a lot of balanced scoring. I think we had 4, 5, 6 guys that were in double figures, and everyone was contributing. And you didn't see necessarily in the NBA like a lot of the ball hogging or the selfish play. So there's some concern on that angle today in town, and you read some other reports out there. But no, this is a great move. It's a big move. I mean, it's a lot of money. It's a lot. Putting a lot of time and effort into it. And the Cavs, that window to win. The nice thing though is that they're so young. So I mean, there can be some more adjustments, and so it's exciting. I mean, with the Cavs doing this and the Guardians in first place, like you mentioned earlier. And who knows about the Browns yet? We'll talk about that, I guess, in a minute.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, the only thing I'll tell you, Garland and him, everyone's saying it, and I agree. It's going to be one of the best young backcourts in the NBA.
Yeah.
And I don't know. He'll bring other people to that city. I mean, just him. You know what I mean? More stars are going to come. So
yes,
what a great day to be a Cavs fan.
Yes, I think the biggest, their one deficit in the start. I mean, you think about it. You've got now 4 probably starters that are all-stars. You had Darius Garland and Jared Allen there last year. You had Mobley on the rookie team, and he definitely should be an all-star next season. So, you got 4 all-stars in their
Right.
starting lineup. I mean, the weak link there is the number 3 position with Isaac Okoro potentially, or Karis LeVert. I
Oh,
mentioned
geez.
off
Yeah.
air my favorite. I got to get a plug in for Dean Wade, the kid from Kansas
Yeah.
who lived out in Kansas for a long time myself. So I think that the Cavs could potentially plug him in that starter role. He did start quite a bit last year when others were injured. So, and then you think you got Kevin Love.
Right.
Is he going to continue to come off the bench? Things like that. So.
Yeah, no, it's a good time. It's a good time.
Yeah,
I can't wait to go down there now to watch basketball because I
absolutely.
I won't go to Toronto. The border's a mess, and then it's just so expensive. Anytime I
Yes.
try to go up there for anything, so we got to go to Cleveland because we're going to see great basketball now.
We'll find the calendar, and we'll find the time that we can meet up there for a game.
Yes, that'd be great.
I'm down in Columbus, so we're celebrating the Buckeye big game tomorrow. That's why I'm wearing the Buckeye gear here today.
Yes, huge
Go
game
Bucks.
tomorrow. I've been a Buckeye fan for 70s because that's all that would be on TV here. It'd either be Michigan or Ohio State, or you might see Notre Dame, and I kind of picked Ohio State. But everything's going on in Ohio. The Browns, I just want to hear what you think, I guess, in general, because I haven't been able to talk to anyone except, I'd read stuff on Twitter, read some of your stuff. Curious, what are your thoughts on all of it? Watson's gone now for 11 games. Here's Brissett. In my opinion, he could be as good as, I don't know, is he as good as Baker Mayfield? Maybe. What are your thoughts on all of that, how it transpired?
Well, I mean, probably a little bit of shock and awe initially, with everything that happened early on in February, March with the big trade that's been, we've talked about that endlessly. Now we know that Watson will be suspended for a good length of the season, won't come back till early December. So, no, I'm always optimistic. I'm a Browns fan. And so I think the strength of the team, you've got a real core there again, like some of these other Cleveland teams, and you've got the best running back tandem in the NFL, I believe. I believe Nick Chubb is the best running back, or one of the top 3 running backs in the league. He's very underrated. Some folks do appreciate him, but I think he's underappreciated by some still. Kevin Stefanski, good coach, going through some ups and downs. Had that initial season during the pandemic. The Browns were winning, and then coming into last year, just a lot of things with Baker Mayfield with the injury. So, going into this year, I mean, Jacoby Brissett is a very solid backup guy that's come in at times with the Patriots, with the Colts. When Andrew Luck went out, he's used to coming into big moments and playing in long stretches of seasons. I think I wish the Browns had maybe played him a little bit more in the preseason, but this whole talk about the preseason and what it means is still up for a lot of discussion. So, he didn't look fantastic in the preseason game that they played in the other day, but I'm looking forward to him. The Browns they only have currently 2 tight ends on their current 53-man roster. They brought in Jesse James, a former who used to play for the Steelers, some other teams. I think they're going to probably bring him in, it sounds like, and so that would be good. With David Njoku and Harrison Bryant being the 2 main guys, you rely on those tight ends, but you've also got you got a big trade with Amari Cooper, from the Cowboys. But between the running game and let's not forget about Kareem Hunt. What happens with all those? They have 5 running backs on the roster. So I've still been writing, and a lot of us are still speculating what could happen within the next week. Still, would Dearness Johnson or would Kareem Hunt still be part of a deal? I could see that happening. I could even see it happening after week 1 or 2. Let's say one of the big running backs goes down on one of these other teams. So kind of waiting to see where that is. But, I think if the Browns, don't think too far and don't try to manage too much, and let Brissett do some of the things that he's good at, manage the team, work the, get the first downs and whatnot. They're their season is the first 4 games is pretty nice way to open. Now that the big talk here today is about Baker and his let off the leash T-shirt that he's advertising after his saying 2 days ago that he's just going to let his work do the talking when he plays, and now he comes out with this wonderful T-shirt. So it's just added a little bit more height to the hype. So I think I'm coming out with a little article on that tomorrow morning. So look for that. But no, I think the Browns are in good. I mean, I think they got it to playoffs in 2020. They didn't last year because of a variety of reasons. I think they should be right back there if they rely on the things that their strengths are at. I think the defense is getting better. How much better? Let's see what happens. Last year, the secondary was kind of torn up at the beginning of the year, but it got better. I ended up going out to Kansas City for that opener last year when the Browns played the Chiefs, and that was one of those games where the Browns had a big lead, kind of late, and they kind of choked. So looking forward to the season, but as Browns fans, we always look forward to the season. We'll have a lot more to talk about after week 1.
No, I know it's always wait till next year for me too. I know what you mean. Do they still have Greedy Williams? Is he there?
Yes, he is. Yep. And
what's been going on with him? Because I was just curious, because I remember in college, unbelievable to me. I really enjoyed watching him.
Yeah, he had the shoulder nerve thing where he was out for most of the previous season, and then they kind of slowly brought him back last year, and he did some really good things late in that year. I don't know if you recall in the game against the Oakland or the Las Vegas Raiders. I think it was a Thursday night game. He got a late interception in that game. Thought it kind of sealed the deal for the Browns, but they didn't seal the deal. No, he had a decent second half of last year. This year, the Browns they drafted Martin Emerson, MJ Emerson from Mississippi State. Boy, he's gonna be good. 6'1", 6'2", tough guy, real good tackler, really real knack for the ball. He had that interception in one of those preseason games that was pretty impressive. He stole the ball away from his defender or from the receiver. So he's going to be, you got Greg Newsome, you got Denzel Ward on the outsides. You're working in, Martin MJ Emerson, and then you've got a couple of these other guys, including Greedy. Greedy should, he'll get a lot of time, I think, early. We'll see. But I mean, I think there's a lot of people that, I think this is his 3rd season or 4th now with the team. Yeah. So and you got some other guys from LSU. I mean, the LSU track with the Browns. I mean, you got Grant Delpit.
He's good. Yes,
you got Jacoby or Jacob Phillips at linebacker, who was kind of injured previously. So he's coming in, and so looking forward to seeing what he does this year.
Yeah, Delpit. What a good. He's unbelievable. He really was in college. I mean, he's going to be one of the better. I think he could be one of the better safeties in the league, or back to the old days when the Browns had great safeties.
Yes. So we're Hanford Dixon, Frank Minifield, all those guys Felix Wright.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
They
were great.
It's funny that you were talking earlier about it's great that I didn't realize, we were saying off the air how you were you went to those games down there sometimes. And so.
Yeah, I went to a lot of playoff games because with my brothers being such big Browns fans, I remember we went to go see, oh God, it must have been a wild card game. I wish I could remember the year, but it was against Houston, and it was a snowstorm. I just remember Chris Dishman. He was the guy that they were throwing snowballs at him. He was but it was a great time. I missed I guess missed
the old municipal stadium with those long troughs for the urinals. That was always the best part. It scared me to death as a kid,
Yeah, just like Buffalo. We had them here too. What I wanted to ask you then also is the offensive line. How is that coming about? I know they lost their center, right? Is that for the year?
Ethan Pokic. Is it Pokic? Pokic.
Something like
going to be the center, and then you've got Greg Forbes as the backup. But I know one of our writers was speculating on a couple players. I had written one of their names, potentially in a trade. Graham Glasgow, potentially. I don't know if I'm trying to double check what team he played for, but just the offensive line you got Jack Conklin coming off a major injury. You got Jed Willis on the one side. So you've got Joel Bitonio coming back. So, I mean, that's really Wyatt Teller coming
Right.
back. So it's been one of their strengths. And that's really, you look back at last year and all the things that happened. I mean, there were constantly injuries on that offensive line last year. It was a patchwork of, trying to fill the holes and the gaps. And that didn't help Baker, and Baker refusing to sit down and having his injured shoulder the whole year. So, no, I think the offensive line should be solid. It looked like, it was preseason. It's hard to kind of see. We'll see what happens on game 1 there down in Carolina.
Well, now, I got to ask you about Baker though. Like I couldn't stand him when he planted the flag at in Columbus.
Yeah.
Then, all right, goes to the Browns. Thought it was kind of funny that he goes back, going to Ohio. Did the fans warm up to him? Was he accepted? Was it? It's kind of a weird, to me, on the outside. It just seemed like a very weird relationship. I know he tried to play hurt, and sometimes I give him respect for that. I mean, he wanted to play, but I knew he was kind of hurting them, I think. What were your thoughts on him, Baker?
I think the fan base in general really took him in as one of their own. I think the majority of fans quickly really came to love him because of his abrupt way and his approach, and even the way that he entered the Browns. If you recall, back in 2018, Tyrod Taylor was the Browns starter. Yeah. Hugh Jackson was the Browns coach, who was, I think he's a horrible coach. Yeah. He finally, Taylor goes out in the first half of the week 3 game against the Jets. It's on TV. I think it was a Thursday night game against Sam Darnold. And Baker just lit it up. I mean, his first few passes were zingers, and it electrified that crowd immediately. I was there, and I think he won over the majority of the fan base. And to be honest, over the years, I've really appreciated his, guttiness. On the outside, it seems that way. You get conflicting stories from a variety of sources, and some of them suggest, on the outside, from someone who might be a fan, that his persona is very positive, and he signs autographs and remembers people that maybe he talked to before, which is really cool. And he has those great progressive commercials.
Yes.
So I think, the majority of the fan base loved him. That's why, with everything that happened last year, how it went down, there was a lot of discussion throughout the season about, why is he still playing? Is he the Browns' best chance here? Or why aren't they? Then they had Case Keenum, who's, I think, with Buffalo now. Yeah. Why didn't they go with Case? And was it a decision made by Baker, or did he have clout over, Stefanski and the owner? I mean, all these questions, because, you could see that Baker was injured, and, no one wanted to talk about it first. So with all of that, and the fact that he didn't sign an extension going into that season, played hurt, everything. So I think then with this deal with Deshaun Watson, it just really tore. I mean, so there's so much that has been torn, and there are lots of Browns fans that are really upset. Sure. I mean, I've run into family, friends who have season tickets who have given them away. I have fans that have said to me that they will cheer for the team until week 11. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, I've been a Browns fan, like you've been a fan of your teams for years. It's so I think, the whole thing with Baker now that he went to Carolina, how unusual, and the fact that now he'll be starting against the team that he just left, find that pretty interesting. And now he came out with this T-shirt today after a couple days saying he was going to lay low. Now he's off the leash. And so, I think I will, personally, I'll follow Baker. I thought he did a lot for this town. He did a lot for this football program, where he brought this team back to some prominence along with all the other players, but he gets the most attention because he was the quarterback. And if you look at his record and what he did and how we went through a laundry list of other quarterbacks, I think Baker will or should be appreciated for what he did for 4 years. He gave this Browns team a lot more consistency, and he brought this team back to relevance. So I'll cheer for him. Not in game one, and I hope he gets sacked 10 times by Miles and Clowney, and hope the Browns just take it to him. So, but after that, I hope that he does okay. And if he's healthy, he should have a really good year. He's a pretty good quarterback.
Yeah, he's dynamic. I know he is. I was looking at the schedule. I thought, before we came on, they play the Panthers, the Jets, and the Steelers at home. And then I think they're at Atlanta. They can win their first four.
Absolutely. Yep.
Which they almost have to. I think they need to win, like, in a way. I think because then you end up with, now it's the Chargers. That's a tough run here. After they play
New England.
It's like Baltimore, Cincinnati, Miami, Buffalo, Tampa. That's a. I mean.
So, you never know. I mean, based on what happened this past year, obviously, last year the Browns got killed by New England. The Browns scored that first touchdown. I think they lost 41-7 or something like that. It's definitely those first four are winnable. Based on everything that you hear. I don't know. I'm gonna just see what happens on Sunday when they play Carolina. The Browns have not won a home opener since 2004, or they haven't won an opening game. Opening game. Last time they won one was when Jeff Garcia was quarterbacking them, and they beat Baltimore in a home game. But I definitely think that they should be able to beat Carolina based on what the Browns have against. Obviously, I think the advantage is to the Browns slightly because of their defense and knowing what Baker can do and not do. The next few games, the Jets are kind of, they're a young team. They're gaining some momentum, but I think their quarterback is going to be out for a bit. The Steeler game is always big moment, but that's going to be at home. That's going to be in Cleveland. I think it's a Thursday night game.
Yeah.
Browns have kind of beaten Pittsburgh now a couple times, and they didn't beat them last year, but they beat them the year before. So I think that's good. So.
Have they named a starting quarterback yet?
For the Steelers?
Yeah.
No,
I don't think so.
No, I don't know. Now I tell you, the guy that we got, Joshua Dobbs, the backup used to be for the Steelers. He lit it up. I mean, I know it's preseason, but he got the fan base pretty pumped, and so there's a lot of fans here who want to see Dobbs start instead of Brissett. So.
Oh wow.
That's I think we'll hold the phone on that part, but I think it's definitely if Brissett comes out and for some reason start throwing interceptions right away, there will be some boo birds. So
he's got the ability. I mean, to me, with their power running game and the offensive line is pretty much back. I mean, I know they lost their center, but those two guards are incredible that the Browns have, and he should be able to manage that for them. I really think they could win. I was looking at it. I don't know. Definitely going to win 6. Maybe you get lucky and pop a 7th one in there. Then you're 7-4 with.
But then when you get with Watson back, then you wonder, well, okay, is Watson gonna, is he gonna be ready?
Yeah.
I mean, you think he's been out for 2 years.
I know, and all the stuff, and he plays against Houston. I guess his first game, of course.
Right. How ironic! Like how did that? Like the Browns get Carolina against Baker, and then they got with
that's a very Cleveland thing to happen. You know what I mean? Kind of just
absolutely.
If it can happen, it does. I got another question to ask you. It's about a personal favorite of mine, and I don't know. Maybe you won't know how he's doing. David Bell from Purdue.
Oh gosh, yeah, love David Bell.
How's he doing? I saw him through the Bears, but I didn't see much of him.
Well, I mean, he caught 3 passes for some 30-some yards, and he was the highlight of that first half with Brissett at the end of that half when they played the Bears. The Browns weren't doing anything offensively, and no, there's a lot of talk in the wide receivers here. Is we have 5 wide receivers. One of those includes Anthony Schwartz, who used to play for Auburn. He was a track star. He's got a lot of speed, but he hasn't played a lot of football, and he's been dropping balls left and right. Mm-hmm. And so David Bell did everything at Purdue. I mean, he was outstanding. He was the Big Ten receiver of the year, right? Wasn't?
Yeah, I watched him with Michigan State, they couldn't stop him. I mean, Ohio State had big trouble with him.
No, I mean he's basically the replacement for Jarvis Landry, who's now with the New Orleans Saints, the veteran receiver there. So I expect David Bell to be a big part of this offense, especially by the season's end. I think he'll probably get his feet wet and have some ups and downs maybe early on. But I mean, everything that I've seen and everything that you learn about him from when he was in college. I mean, he didn't drop anything.
No.
I think he dropped 1 or 2 passes in the preseason, but I think he would be very reliable. And I think the fans will come to really love that kid. I did a story about him a while back on Dog Pound Daily. You have to go search it, but just a little bit about his background.
Oh, cool.
And just a super cool guy. So
nice.
I'm looking forward to seeing more of him in the Browns. He's number 18, I think. So.
Let me ask, before I got to let you go, I want to ask you a couple of things. One, Ohio State tomorrow -17.
Yeah.
I think, I want to get your take, but here's mine. I think with the new coach, he was never a head coach before, ex-Ohio State guy, everything else.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Ohio State, I guess it's more if Ohio State's defense is better than last year, because I know they're going to score.
Yeah.
I mean, so 45-21 or something.
45-21. Okay. I heard 38-20 this morning by somebody. I think it's going to be more than 17. Probably. But I don't, part of me says it could be like offensive explosion. It could be like 52-14. But then there's other part of me that says, maybe 28-10 or something. So, because I think both teams I think there's a lot of, it's first game. A lot of, a lot of jitters from both sides. Stadium will be packed at Ohio Stadium. Obviously, Ohio State is talented as all get out. I mean, they should run the table. They have 8 home games. I was looking at this morning, and like 4 away games. They don't have an away game until like week 6.
Oh, wow.
So, like, what kind of a home field advantage?
For people out there that don't know, I'll tell you what, in Jigba, watch him tomorrow. He's unbelievable.
Yes.
And then even Marvin Harrison Jr. So
yes, he had 15 catches for 3,000 yards in that last game.
Yeah, I know. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Well, and Stroud now giving away his unit, or he's got that deal with it. I don't know if you saw that up there, probably not, but in the local news, he has a deal with Express clothing, and so he gets a boatload of money. And to promote, they gave all the team $500 for suits.
Some gift cards. Yes. Yeah. I think he might be better than Fields. He just had bigger size. He's a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, but he'll be one of the top draft picks. We'll have to talk about that down the line.
Definitely.
I have to have you on my podcast here. You guys
have
you come on mine. That'd be fun when the season gets started.
I would love to anytime. I could talk this stuff.
You do these more. I've kind of, I've had them, but I've had them more sporadic. So I got to get back to that.
Yeah, we're every Friday night. I have 2 co-hosts with me normally.
Yeah,
Scott.
I saw the other show you did the other day.
Yeah, Scott's is on vacation. Julio plays softball, so he's not ready to come back yet. He's younger than us, so he still does that stuff.
Okay.
And I love this, man. The problem is that's why I can't have a guest. I have guests, and I want to keep talking because I love I could do this all night. Talk this way, but I won't keep you anymore, John. But I really appreciate you being with me.
Thank you very much. Thank you again, and we'll follow your show. And
same with me.
Follow all my the
Definitely.
Dog Pound Daily and the Cleveland Sports Talk.
I will. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. So that was John. Suchan now. Excellent. So much knowledge. Cleveland. Yeah, because Cleveland. I mean, I don't hear locally we're in Buffalo, but it's still it's Cleveland's been on, like I was telling, on everything. Yeah. I mean, the Guardians have been good out of nowhere, kind of, and then with what just happened with Donovan Mitchell, and of course the Watson thing, which is really unfortunate because as he said, it puts a cloud over things. This is a good team that I would love to see Brissett go win 8 games, like be 8-3. Wouldn't that be great? It's possible. Yeah, it is possible. There's some tough games though. There's some tough because after they get past Atlanta, which is week 4, They play the Chargers, going to be tough. That's at home. Then they play New England, who they can beat. Then this is bad. It's at Baltimore, Cincinnati, at Miami, at Buffalo, then Tampa. Yeah, it's tough. If you can get 1 or 2 out of there, I don't even know if you can. I hope. Well, I don't know if you can. Maybe Miami's probably the weakest link in that mix, but even them, we don't know how good they can be.
Yeah.
So, all right, I should probably take a break. We should probably take a little break, come back, talk a little more about what happened in the NFL, a few cuts and some surprising signings. Talk about college football. Is there some breaking news? Your questions.
And I have lots of them.
Lots of questions. All right, so we need to take a break. We'll be back in about 2 minutes. All right, welcome back, and thank you to their sponsors and the new shows. And tomorrow, I should let everyone know that at 2 o'clock, Balls Count Anywhere with Charlie Turner and Chris DiCarlo has a huge guest. And if you're a fan of wrestling of the 80s and 90s and all that, Jumping Jim Brunzell, one of the Killer Bees, will be joining us.
I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a lot to talk about with him.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And the guys will be ready and always doing a great job. Real quick, little bit of NFL stuff before we move on to the couple of college games last night, all that. Russell Wilson signs a 5-year, $245 million extension, and he gets $165 guaranteed. I guess I don't care.
Yeah.
It doesn't really, I mean, they should, I mean, he's going to get paid.
Right. I mean,
So,
he should. He's got the track record to have earned that money.
he's a little old.
Yeah, he's a little old, and I don't know if I'm as in love with Denver as everyone else is this year. I think they're in a tough AFC West, and I just don't know.
I kind of like the defense. I do a little. I mean, I don't know either. I don't even know how he'll perform. I don't know. I can't even. It's so weird with him, and who knows? Maybe there'll be a rebirth. But in Seattle last year, he looked his age a little to me. They're starting to look like there was a decline. That doesn't mean nothing because it happens, and sometimes they come right back.
Right.
New life, and maybe that's all he needed was a new, a new environment. I know Dawn loves Russell Wilson. We love Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
We don't have a problem with Russell Wilson.
All right. I like Russell.
Couple other things that went on. Garoppolo goes back with San Francisco. I did tell you guys. I told Scott one day I thought he'd go back. For 1 year, $6.5 million. He has a no trade clause, which means nothing. It's just really no trade clauses nowadays means nothing.
Right.
Because basically you just say, I'm not going. I mean, but in the past, you couldn't do that for some reason. I remember a no trade clause was a big deal. If you got traded somewhere you didn't want to go, you still went.
Right.
So there's that. Makes sense for him to go there, just stay.
Yeah.
Him and Lance, Trey Lance are good friends. I guess they really enjoy each other's company from what I was hearing. And why not? I mean, just stay there. What's the point of going anywhere else? You go to Seattle and get beat up. You go to Cleveland, and that's just, you're not going to start. So, I don't think he had a choice.
Right. But yeah, I heard a comment that he made, and he said that staying wasn't on his mind, and then it just came about at the last minute.
Seems kind of the thing to do.
But yeah, I can't.
There's nowhere else to go. I mean, why would you want to go start in, let's say, Houston?
Right.
I mean, Seattle has some, but I don't know. And then you got to wonder about him. I mean, where he lives. Seattle's close to San Francisco at least. I mean, but when you're going to Houston or you're coming all the way across to Cleveland or something like that.
Right.
And honestly, I don't know really how. I mean, is he another one who's any really better than? I don't know. Jacoby Brissett? Maybe he probably is. Probably should say. He went to the Super Bowl, didn't he?
Yeah.
So yeah.
But that doesn't always say much.
No, we know that. Jalen Reagor, wide receiver from the Eagles, went to the Vikings for a 7th and a 4th in 2024. And I think the thing that was most interesting to me was that the Eagles got more for Reagor than Dallas got for Amari Cooper. I thought that was just weird, how that could transpire that way.
Right.
I mean, they got a 5th. So I think the thing is, though, they got a 5th probably this upcoming draft, the Cowboys.
Right.
Where the Eagles got a 7th, but they got a 4th in the draft. So I don't know. Seems like a good deal for them.
Yeah.
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, safety, Philadelphia's pretty active, went to Philadelphia from New Orleans, and they traded a 5th and a 6th to New Orleans. So a little more activity than normal in the NFL with trades. Because usually it's a little more quiet.
Yeah.
Let's go around a little bit, Robin, before we get into other stuff about where players have gone. I said this online. I was happy the Bears signed Alex Leatherwood. They brought him in.
Yes.
I know he was horrible. He had some hard times in Las Vegas, but he's enormous and he knows how to run block. And I don't think something's up because he was pretty damn good in Alabama.
He was.
Against tough competition.
Right.
Kellen Mond, who was drafted to be the guy in line for Kirk Cousins, is with the Browns. I forgot to ask John about Kellen Mond. So anyways, he went there. They gave up on him pretty quick. O.J. Howard to the Texans. Sony Michel, this is a weird one to the Chargers because the Chargers have Eckler and, well, maybe that is a backup. Maybe they don't have another back. I don't know. Maybe it's just Eckler and no one of note.
Right.
What else do we got? The Bills got their punter from Denver. Josh Gordon to the Titans. He got cut by the Chiefs. And he was put on the practice squad, which I thought was, I don't know, I just thought that was odd.
Yeah.
That he's on I wonder why that is. I think there's something else. Let me see. Hold on. Let me check I wrote some stuff down. That might have been it, Robin. Is there anyone else I'm missing? As far as I thought Wyatt Davis, I don't know what's going on with him if he went back to Minnesota. He was offensive lineman for Ohio State. He was really good. He got cut by Minnesota. So, and I thought that was a pretty quick way to cut him. Pretty fast. They gave up on him pretty quickly. Yeah, I think that's about it. Is there? Yeah, I think that's all, Robin. That was the biggest news. Breaking news, though, before we came on.
Yeah.
As we shift over, and I want to bring
exciting news. For me, anyways.
Yeah, breaking news. 2026, they will be expanding, reports say, to 12 teams, the college football playoff.
Yes.
Supposedly 6, we were trying to figure this out, 6 conference champions plus like 6 at large.
Right.
Who are the 6 conferences? We know the Power 5. Whatever the 6th one is. Because you Big 10, SEC, ACC, Big 12. I don't know if I forgot now. Pac-10. But unfortunately, these conferences are being weakened.
Right.
USC and UCLA going to the Big 10, Oklahoma and Texas going from the Big 12 over to the SEC. Unless there's going to be some other movement that way.
Right.
There would have to be, I guess. So I'm excited for it.
I am too.
I can't wait. I think back to the days of, you might have been a little bit young for this, but when there would be split champ because there wouldn't be a playoff. And if Alabama, they had to go to the Sugar Bowl, and if Penn State won, they're going to the Rose Bowl, and they might both be undefeated, but they're not playing each other.
Right.
So it'd be who wins or lose. If one, then you got a chance, or you had a split. And the only time you got close with anything like that would be if Notre Dame, because they were an independent, so they could go They used to go to the Fiesta Bowl a lot, or the Orange Bowl. It seemed like Notre Dame in the past, but I'm happy.
Yes, I am.
12
too.
teams, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Last night there was 2 games, and one of them, very good, that we watched, and one of them pissed me off, and one of them didn't. But I'm going to I want to show the end of the West Virginia Pitt game. Here we go.
Daniels takes a shot. Was that caught? That was Reese Smith.
We got to see that one again.
And the officials are discussing it. They called that a catch.
And that's on the ground.
This is absolute mayhem here in Pittsburgh.
The ruling on the field was a catch. The previous play is under further review. That ball's moving.
Matt Austin. It's coming down to this call right here.
His hand under it? No.
I'm not
Ball
sure.
happened. That's not a catch.
I'm not sure.
I agree with Lewis. That ball's rolling into the end zone. That's going to be incomplete.
I'm looking at it
At
again.
133.
And for some reason, I'm not positive that wasn't a catch.
I don't think it was.
No. I thought his hand was underneath the ball.
I don't know. I thought there was a flash of brown on the turf.
I swear, I don't know where does his hand go then? Because at one point, he didn't catch the ball and palm it to the turf. So his hand was there once.
Yeah.
Did it get pinned behind his back?
I think it might have.
I don't know. Don says no way. I don't know. Love the backyard brawl, though.
Oh,
That was
God,
great.
yeah.
I'm glad it came back. Nebraska, Oklahoma, similar. They'll be back finally after all these years. They're going to get to play each other again. But that finish was fine. Okay. It's for me. It was either way was fine. It was a catch, wasn't a catch. I couldn't tell. It wasn't close enough for me to know. I thought his hand was under the ball.
Yeah, I
think the ball can. You can't. There's that rule. The ball can not hit the ground, but
if you have possession.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
I could not tell.
It was. I thought after some of the replays last night that it was pretty clearly not, but
Right.
I mean that.
It was a great game.
Yeah, it was an incredible game.
With West Virginia, both teams, both those quarterbacks too. From what Georgia? Were they ex-Georgia? No, one of them was JT Daniels. I forgot where the other guy was from. He might have been from USC.
Right.
I think JT Daniels has been everywhere.
Yeah.
He might have been USC originally, but really, really, really great game. Now this game here annoyed me because of the way it ended. Purdue, Penn State. I'm going to bring up the second to last drive that pretty much ended the game. For Purdue.
O'Connell over the middle. Jones with another catch. Charlie Jones continues to excel. That's a first down and a gain of 17. What a night for Chuck Sizzle. O'Connell will throw it. O'Connell in trouble. O'Connell buys time across the field. Oh, what a catch by Durant. Spectacular grab. Payne Durham. 21 yards.
I cannot believe he got to this ball. I don't know, Gus.
After further review, it's an incomplete pass. O'Connell pulls it out. O'Connell throws it deep. He's got a man. Incomplete.
Now, as you look at the clock, it's like 2:36 left in the game, and they're up. They're up. What was the score? 31-28. And not only were they throwing the ball, because you can throw the ball,
right?
But there's other ways. There's safe ways of throwing it so you can run some clock,
right?
I mean, they're throwing plays downfield. I mean, look at the one. The first one was just tossed up in the air where the guy almost made that ridiculous catch. But the other one, I mean, they're going for a touchdown there.
Right.
And I don't know. Because that's a big game between Purdue and Penn State, because those two teams are good, and they have an opportunity to have been really good in the Big Ten. And for Purdue to not be able to at least turn around and hand the ball off once,
Right.
it makes no sense because there's no 2-minute warning. So you could just let that clock run.
Yeah.
Make them call their timeouts. It would have been a whole different story if they'd had no timeouts. They wouldn't have been able to use the field. Look at the field. They were throwing the ball down the middle. You know what I mean? Penn State had the whole field open to them.
Yeah.
It aggravated me.
Yeah.
You got to be able to run. I don't care what year this is, what decade it is. Football it isn't really got to be changed.
You got to be able to close out a game.
Yeah.
I mean, even if the running game isn't your strength, it's got to.
Sometimes it's better to get 3 yards.
Yeah, it's got to be available to you.
It's got to be better to get 3 yards than throwing completions and allow the team to have all 2 timeouts and still 2 minutes left.
Right.
You can do anything with that much time, especially in college because first down stop the clock. Yep. So was the most boneheaded thing. And I think all teams, I don't care what league it is, if you can't run, you're not going to win.
Right.
You have, or at least know that when there's 2 minutes left, since there's no 2-minute warning in college, that you could at least turn around and hand it to them. I don't think there was a problem with turning around and handing it to them. They just didn't want it.
Right.
They did everything they could to lose.
Yeah.
And they did a great job at that.
They definitely did. They handed the game over.
I just don't like Penn State either. Anyway. All right. Why don't we do what we got tomorrow, right? College football real quick. Tonight, Michigan State's playing here shortly against Western Michigan. Michigan State's -21. Good game tomorrow at 3:30 is Cincinnati, number 25, against 19 Arkansas.
Yeah.
I don't have the line on that game, but I think it was light. I think it's like Arkansas was only minus. Maybe Arkansas. Let me see. I think I might have wrote it down. Hold on. I got it. There's 6.5. Arkansas is -6.5. Arkansas offensive line is considered one of the top 5 in college football. And Cincinnati's lost a little bit from last year. Think about how the guys, they kind of lost.
Right.
The one thing I did, doing a little research on it, Arkansas is they're a run-heavy team because the offensive line's so good.
Right.
So you keep an eye on someone named Raheem Sanders. The quarterback is KJ Jefferson, and he runs the ball. So it'll be an interesting situation for them. No, I'm sorry. Oh, no, I'm right. That's right. Yeah. Here's what I think. Arkansas will be too much for Cincinnati, and Arkansas will win 31-23 if I had to guess that game. So just a guess, because that's not my favorite. I know we got picks.
Right.
The next game that I want to talk about here is, and I think it's the other 3:30 game. It is Oregon against Georgia.
Yes.
You picked this game, right?
Okay.
This is your selection. Georgia's pretty big favorite. What are they? They're like minus
16.5.
Minus 16.5. The game's in Georgia. For Oregon, just so you know, their now head coach Dan Lanning is former Georgia defensive coordinator. If you remember Bo Nix from Auburn, Georgia will remember him because now he's the starting quarterback for Oregon. So Bo Nix is the Oregon, and Georgia knows him from the SEC. Georgia's offensive line is huge, and Oregon supposedly got a good interior defense. So it'll be an interesting battle, but it's 16, number 3 versus number 11. Robin, I'll let you give your pick. This is your pick. We're going to do picks every week. Obviously, we don't have Scott's, and when Julio ever shows up, he'll have his.
I like Oregon with the 16.5. I think Georgia's offense is a little bit better than they were last year, but I think the defense is so significantly depleted from last year's draft that I just don't think they're going to be able to stop Oregon from hanging in the game.
But they win.
Yes, I think Georgia wins, but I don't think they cover.
Georgia 35-17, but it's a close game.
Yeah.
That'd be close. The next game is, let me see what the times are. Utah against Florida at 7 o'clock. This is the game that I believe I am taking. From what I read on some previews, both quarterbacks need to improve. Cam Rising for Utah and Anthony Richardson, if those two guys improve, they could meet some higher expectations. Tavion Thomas for Utah had 20 touchdowns last year, led the Power 5 in touchdowns. So big game for Utah, right? I mean, Florida's unranked. Going to Florida is tough, though, to play in that environment. Utah's number 7. Utah's only -3, right? I think they're 3 last time I saw.
2.5.
Okay,
well, is what we had written down.
I saw. Okay. I like Utah to win the game, 28-24. I do think it's going to be tight. I think the running game is what powers Utah to the win. But I think it'll be close. And I think Florida is I think Florida will be in the top 25 for the year's over. I just got a feeling. I read something the other day, it was Pro Football Focus, that had them in the top 15 talented teams, but they're not in the top 25. So interesting. Then the big one of them all, Ohio State takes on Notre Dame from Columbus. Ohio State's -17. Marcus Freeman for as head coach of Notre Dame. First game ever as head coach. He played for Ohio State. He was a linebacker. Ohio State's going to score, like I was talking to John. You know they're going to score. There's no way they don't score.
Right.
They're going to score. They just got too much.
Yeah.
The question is their defense. Remember last year how they couldn't stop? There was games where they just couldn't stop, especially the run.
Right.
They just could against Oregon. Oh my God, they just did not stop the run.
Michigan.
Against Michigan, yeah. But Notre Dame, if Notre Dame's going to hang in here, they got to run the ball. I think they got to chew up the clock.
Yeah.
They don't have that offensive. I don't think they have the weapons to keep up with this.
No.
With what Ohio State has.
No, I don't think they do either.
For me, Ohio State wins the game 45-17. That's what I'm predicting. I'm not betting it though, because I don't know what defense is going to be there. I think it's going to be better. They have a new defensive coordinator. They have new players. Obviously on the defensive side, quite a number, and that's probably a good thing.
Right.
Don likes Ohio State in that one to cover. So, Robin, do you think they cover?
I do.
It'll be interesting. Notre Dame at number 5 is always something.
I think Notre Dame is a little fraudulently ranked. I think they're a little high. I think it's purposeful so that.
Well, it's perfect. If Ohio State were to lose, then they lost to number 5. So it is how it is. And with them not being in a conference, it's always a mess.
And if heaven forbid Notre Dame should win,
well, if they win,
then they can.
If they win, though, that's good for Notre, because then they'll be number 2. But right. Ohio State will then have lost to number 5 or number 2, whatever you want to call them. If Ohio State wins the rest of their way out, you've got a path for them to make the top 4. That's why this new thing of top 12 is going to be really good.
Yes.
That I cannot wait for. I wish it was being done sooner.
Me too.
Why don't we do some questions? Hold on a minute. This is your time. This is your, let me bring up your banner. There you go. Robin's questions. And you could and if you're in the message board, answer them too. If you're there, if you feel like it. I'll definitely read them and put them up. Because I don't know what the questions are. Just tell me where we start.
All right, let's start with baseball.
Okay. Go ahead. Robin's questions.
All right. So the Yankees had an unprecedentedly bad month.
One of the worst probably in like 30 years.
Yeah. In their history. Should Yankee fans be worried?
Yes, I would be worried because the worry is I don't know why what was going on before, which was hitting with runners in scoring position, all of a sudden fell apart. I don't get why that happened. Now, I think Carpenter hopefully is back soon. He was huge for them. Benintendi's hitting good. They're losing a lot of close games too. It's better to do it now than a month from now. Right. Obviously. You can see the pressure on Aaron Boone as he's slamming his hands and punching stuff on in the press conferences.
I'm a big fan of Aaron Boone.
Well, this might be he knows this might be the end. But because when you got the Mets playing as well, I think they either swept the Dodgers or won a series against them.
Yeah.
That's never good. Huge series now, starting in a couple minutes with Tampa and New York.
Yes.
As Tampa is only 6 back after being 15 back.
Right.
That's crazy. The Yankees get swept here. I don't think they're going to win the division. It might be it. So yeah, I'm nervous. I can't say I don't know how you couldn't be. They've lost too much. It just doesn't stop. They find every way possible.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. More questions.
All right. So there's talk of the Angels being sold.
Yeah.
What do you if that happens? What do you think that what effect does that have on Shohei Ohtani's future?
God, it should have. I would think whoever buys them it would have to be number one thing to do is make sure you keep him. Because Mike Trout is no longer a marquee guy just because of the injuries. He's an awfully great player. He's never played in the playoffs yet.
I know.
And he's always hurt. But he's not the guy. You got to keep him. He's MVP if Aaron Judge. You could have an argument for both. Judge's incredible season, but Ohtani's doing crazy stuff as a pitcher and a hitter and everything else. They got to keep him. They can't let him go away. That would have to be the first thing if I'm going to buy that team is what I'm doing. Keeping him as long as he'll stay. You want 15 years? You got it. You want 10 years? You got it. Because, then again, you don't got to worry about there's no salary cap in there. So dead money doesn't count.
Right.
So you don't got to worry about all that stuff. But yes, they had better keep him, or else I would think the fan base would not be. And it's a beautiful stadium,
Oh, it is. It's gorgeous.
Yep.
So just real quick to round out baseball, tell me who you think at this point your AL and NL MVPs would be.
Got to go with Judge, and it's hard not to go with Goldschmidt. So it'd be Goldschmidt and Judge. Ohtani's right there, though.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I think it's Goldschmidt in the NL. I think that's easier.
Yeah.
The AL, the thing is, Judge is doing everything he can to help that. He hits big home runs at big times. And Ohtani's just amazing.
Yeah, Ohtani hit some big home runs.
Oh, I saw it against the Yankees. Yeah, we didn't even get to see him pitch.
No.
So, but I'm going to go with Goldschmidt in the National League and Judge in the American.
Okay. On to basketball.
All right.
Will Kevin Durant end the season with the Nets?
Wow, that's a good question. I want to say no, but I don't know. Maybe, Kyrie's still there too. So I'll say yes.
Yes.
And then I don't know what happens after.
Okay.
In the offseason.
Right.
I don't think he's there anymore.
Okay.
I think he's been embarrassed by this. I think there's been a little bit of embarrassment.
I agree, yeah.
Can't be traded. It's kind of messed, they kind of got blocked a little. Some of the stuff they happened with Phoenix and some crazy stuff. So, especially what was going on with Ayton's the reason. Remember that whole thing with him? It just messed everything up.
Right. Patrick Beverley goes to the Lakers. Do you think that means the Lakers are done with Russell Westbrook?
It must be. I would think so. I think he needs to move on. I don't know if he's done yet, but I think he needs to go somewhere else. I think he needs a new scenery. I'd want out if I was Westbrook. I really would. But I don't know what he wants to do. I mean, LA's LA. Means he's going to go play in Detroit. I don't know. You know what I mean? Because that's where I think he ends up.
Right.
Stupid New York. Who knows what the Knicks can do?
No, that's my next question. What is wrong with the Knicks? What is the problem?
I don't know. They offered way more than for Donovan Mitchell than the Cavs.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of, the only thing is the owner. I can't think of any other reason because it makes no sense. It makes no sense. I'm not saying there's this big allure like there was in the past to go to the Madison Square Garden, but still it's New York City.
Right.
In Manhattan. And no one wants to go.
No. No.
Or I don't even know why the trade wasn't accepted. I guess unless we knew Donovan Mitchell didn't want to go, he's a New York guy too.
Right.
That's I got to find out because it makes no sense.
I know.
Not at all. This trade, it wasn't even close what the Knicks offered in my mind, compared to the Cavs.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Let me move to NHL.
Sure.
Patrick Kane.
Yep.
Where does he end up?
I don't even know. I mean, wherever he goes, the Blackhawks are going to have to take 50% of his salary. There's no way he's going to be there. Someone's going to take that all on. So whatever trade, they're going to have to keep 50%, at least. I think the major teams that you could think of, Toronto is one of them because of his connections with Austin Matthews and stuff. The Rangers, just an obvious just because they're the Rangers. I don't think Tampa would do that, but you never know. I'm just thinking of those teams. Does he go play out in Edmonton? And it's possible. I mean, the thought of playing with Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
And but I think he's playing somewhere where he thinks he can win.
Right.
And win now. So it'd be all those teams that you think, Colorado or whatever. Maybe Minnesota. They're not half bad. But I think the rumor mill about Toronto and the stuff about Edmonton have really been you've been hearing. But whatever it is, they're gonna have to keep money. There's no way the Blackhawks won't.
Right.
So.
No, not at his age. No way.
And the cap.
Yeah.
Although the cap's going up, which is going to be great.
Thank God.
With with the Maple Leafs with Austin Matthews, it'll be just in time.
Right.
Anyways.
All right, we move on to the NFL.
Sounds good.
With all the moves that have been made, who do you see as the top 3 free agents left out there?
Oh, geez. Huh. I just said that one guy from Minnesota, Wyatt, I really liked him. I don't know what the hell happened to him, offensive lineman. I was stunned when I saw, but I don't know. Obviously, I'm not there, so we're not there. We don't know. A lot of them got picked up. I mean, I'm trying to think who's out there. O.J. Howard, I thought was a good one, and he got. Who am I missing? Who's out there that I can't even think right now? To tell you the truth, I can't think of. I'm trying to think off the top of my head who's out there that.
I think at this point it's probably a lot of line, offensive, defensive line.
Well, the Bears got that guy. I can't say his name. It's like OS. I think they're getting him. ELME, whatever. They've done a good job in their free agency. They actually done some things that I think everyone wanted them to do in the draft, but I think smartly they've done it this way. I can't really think. I mean, obviously Beckham's out there. Odell Beckham.
Right.
I guess he's definitely out there for somebody.
Would you sign him?
If I'm a team that could win?
Yeah.
Sure, why not? He could go to Cincinnati, he could go to Buffalo, he could go back to the Rams, he could be he could be anywhere. Go to Baltimore, he could go to any of those teams. It wouldn't shock me. Anywhere, anyone. We go to Green Bay. I could see that. If the Green Bay's playing well, why not? If he's making Lazard and those guys look good, I could see him going there.
Yeah.
To play with Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
So he's got to be number one. I'm trying to think if anything's slipping my mind. I don't think so.
Okay. Right. So the only remaining quarterback competition is with the Steelers. If you're Mike Tomlin, who do you start?
I start picking. There's no point. These teams don't do that no more, and you're not exactly sitting behind, someone with success. So, yeah, I would just go pick. Why not? Why not just go? I don't see the point.
Looks good the preseason.
Yeah, I don't see the point. I think Trubisky sadly was out of place in Chicago. He was drafted too high, and I think he will be a very good backup for someone. He may be in the mold of what's his name, right, Patrick? Just be a really good. Maybe starts here and there for teams that need something.
Right.
But I think Pickett's probably special, so go with him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not sitting. It's not even Garoppolo over there. At least, Trubisky really. When you really sit down and think about it, he didn't hardly play football in college or in high school. It's really weird.
Yeah.
And his time in New York, his time in Chicago, whatever. And then Buffalo, he did nothing. So, I think it's Pickett.
Okay. Is it a mistake for Lamar Jackson to play without the contract extension?
Yeah, I guess injury-wise. That is a huge, roll of the dice. But it really tells me, look at that. Talk about betting on yourself. Wow, he's putting everything on the line. Hundreds of millions of dollars. If he were to get hurt. Jeez. But I'm good for him.
And at this point, it seems like he's holding out just for that guarantee. He wants to be.
He deserves the guarantees.
Yeah, he wants the guarantee money higher than Deshaun Watson.
And he deserves it. Really, how can he make a definite argument?
Yeah,
he's playing
right. But do you think he's more comparable, maybe to a little bit higher of a Kyler Murray?
We got to see this year. He got big. Yeah, I saw he was 40 pounds heavier, which is really big for Lamar Jackson. He runs more than Kyler Murray. And, he's above Murray. I really think the other thing that we keep forgetting is they don't really give him many. You want to talk about no weapons. And they don't have many.
Right.
In Baltimore. They haven't had many except for Andrews, right?
Right.
It's nothing special there. Bateman. Right. I like him, but where is that? Where's that outcry? Get him some get him help.
Yeah.
And their running backs are hurt. J.K. Dobbins is hurt. So, you know what? There's another cut who might be out there, Marlon Mack. I don't know if he went anywhere. That'd be interesting. Maybe he went there. But yeah, I think he's worth every penny because look at when you don't have a quarterback, it's tough.
Yeah.
Teams are looking for them for the past 25 years. The Browns do what they do with that Watson because of it.
Right.
Just because of, fixing that position once and for all. And they probably did it, unfortunately for them.
Right.
I think they made it worse.
Yeah.
All right.
Dak Prescott says the Cowboys are going to prove the doubters wrong. Are the doubters right?
Sadly, they're so banged up. I don't know how. I mean, they're offensive linemen and stuff, and I don't know how. I don't know. Good for him. I hope they can. I do like Tony Pollard a lot, and I think Elliott's fine. They might not be so dynamic down the field, I guess, but good defense over there. So they'll be in the mix, of course. But I don't know. It's tough, right?
Yeah.
A lot of injuries. I don't mind that team. I really don't.
Yeah,
I kind of don't mind watching Dak play. I really, like I said, I like that combination of Pollard, and they're saying he said Pollard's the best pass catcher they have, and they're saying he's going to line up in the slot. So, interesting for him. Anything else?
Yes. I heard an interview with Aaron Donald. He was talking about Josh Allen, and he called him a futuristic Big Ben. Do you think that's an accurate description of Josh Allen?
Yes. Yeah, he's got the same size as him, but he's fast and, more athletic and all that. Yes, it's a good one. And I heard what Josh Allen said about Donald, how he's never thrown around. He's never been thrown around by one hand. Like, he was talking about how Aaron Donald just was throw him around with one hand.
Yeah.
And that's never happened before. So to him, as big as he is, but yeah, sure he is. That's if you want to call, he's got the size of him with 10 times the speed of that guy.
Right.
Probably better arm, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you could do that. Yeah. Guy won Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Roethlisberger, so.
Yeah.
Whatever.
How far can Matt Ryan bring the Colts?
As far as his health. That's my opinion. As far as he can stay healthy. If he can stay healthy for all the games, they can be very good because he's got Jonathan Taylor. And they got a good, decent defense over there. So if he stays healthy, they could make the playoffs. Sure. I think they could.
All right. If you had to win one game, just one game, and you had to choose one current quarterback for your team, who would it be?
Brady. Would have to be him. I just can't figure out why would I choose anyone else. Yeah, one game, that would be the guy I'm taking.
Do you think the Eagles are the contender in the NFC East?
They are definitely awfully good. I think them and the Cowboys, yes, are going to be. It's going to be good. It's going to be like back to the old days with those two teams. It's going to be a really good with Hurts against Dak and everything else. It's going to be good.
Yeah, I like them private.
They're good. I wish they'd wear those old uniforms, the Eagles.
Yeah.
The little brighter green. I'm not talking the Randall Cunningham. I'm talking like the Ron Jaworski ones. Those are really cool.
Do you think the Chiefs are more likely to miss the playoffs or make the Super Bowl?
They're not missing the playoffs. So I guess I'd say more likely to make the Super Bowl. But I don't know if that's going to happen. But I think they're not missing out on the playoffs. They're still good. I mean, Hill's gone. They're still good, though. They just adjust. They'll adjust. I mean, their head coach, Andy Reid, is good. Yeah. He's one of the best.
Yeah.
Defensively is the problem there. Let's see what they do. It's the defense. If the defense is better than it was last year, I think because remember, they're not going to be as dynamic, right? Without Hill.
Right.
So they're going to need to be stronger defensively. But I'd have them in the playoffs. If that happens. If their defense is like last year, they might not.
Right.
But
does Aaron Rodgers three-peat as MVP?
Why not? Sure, maybe. He could. Yes, he could. He's healthy. Maybe the numbers won't be there enough because of the lack of receivers,
Right.
But if he throws only 5 interceptions again in the whole season, like last year, I think he threw 3 or something crazy. It was an unbelievable number.
Yes.
And they win with the team they have around them. They got a great defense, so they are good. So 2 good running backs.
Yeah.
The receivers are what they are. I think Lazard is fine. I think he's underrated. And not even sure who their tight end is. Tanyan still, those guys, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know. If they get off to a hot start, I could see Odell Beckham there easily.
2 more questions.
All right, we're almost done.
What's the best division in football?
Got to be the AFC West, I guess. It's got to be them. I think the AFC North is not North. Yeah, it's no. AFC South with Tennessee,
right,
is close. The Browns one's good too. If the Browns are good, you also have the Ravens in there. The Bills one's not so great because New England and the Jets are still kind of down. We don't know what Miami is.
Right.
So I can't put them in there. I think in the NFC, each division has 2 teams that are going to like Minnesota, Green Bay, Dallas, and Philadelphia. We got the Rams are going to run away with it, but they'll have some time with the Arizona and maybe the 49ers.
Right.
So South not so good in the NFC.
Yeah.
Tampa should be the team.
Yeah.
That just wins.
All right, my last question for you is a little more in depth. Give me a preview of the Bills-Rams game because we won't.
Oh, that's right. We won't be here.
Yeah, we won't be here until
What's
the day after.
The Bills like -2 or something.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Don't matter. I think Stafford is okay because I haven't heard another word about his elbow. Have you? It's been silent. Pretty quiet.
The last I heard is it's a chronic condition,
right.
And it's something he's been dealing with, and will
probably get shots. I'm sure painkillers and stuff. As long as he's on the field, that game will be close. It'll be good. I flip a coin, I think, in this one, but I think the Rams win at home. I don't think you can really make much out of this game at all. Like, you can't take anything away. Unless the only thing you could take away is someone where God forbid get hurt.
Right.
Other than that, it's a non-conference game. It's the first game of the year. Whoever wins or loses, I don't think should mean that much. The winner shouldn't be that, and the loser shouldn't be like the wheels come off. Like it's some bad sign. The only way it'd be a bad sign is if people start getting hurt. I don't know how the Bills, Tre'Davious White, I don't think he'll ever be the same. I don't know how long he can stay out. Rams, they got Wagner. Bobby Wagner is awfully good to put him behind Aaron Donald.
I know.
And the rest, they definitely have the better defense than the Bills. Bills' offense is better. But the Rams aren't bad. I mean, it's not bad. Allen Robinson and Kupp aren't bad.
Right.
Running games, both running games are a little weak. That concerns me about both teams. They need to learn to run the ball, these teams. Because that's why then you don't have to worry about 13 seconds. You don't have to worry about nonsense like that. You run the ball occasionally.
Right.
And that'll help, I think. But I think the Rams would win at home, Super Bowl, the whole deal. Bills will put up a great fight. They could win too. It wouldn't shock me. I won't bet the game because I can't.
No.
It should be enjoyable to watch. I hope no one gets hurt though, honestly, as a fan, because you've got that game. It really shouldn't even be. That game should be later in the season.
Yeah.
I don't like that game being the first one because I just don't think it means as much.
Right.
Because if the Bills were to win 45-10 or lose 45-10, it doesn't matter as much. As long as no one got hurt. Sure, people will be a little, but it won't matter because it's a whole long season where they're going to go, let's say it's the Rams and beat up on these other teams. The Bills would do this. I don't know. Those are the 2 best teams probably in football.
I was just going to say, do you think it's a Super Bowl matchup?
Probably not, because it just never happens that way. But they're the 2 best teams. I think Tampa's going to have a lot to say about it in the NFC. I think Brady could be ready for another MVP season. It wouldn't shock me. I also in the AFC, there's just a bunch of teams that could. I mean, the Bengals were there, and they have strengthened their offensive line. Who knows about the Chargers? I mean, they haven't made a playoff yet, but here they are. The Raiders are everyone's favorite thing to talk about. And those teams like Tennessee. If Whatchamacallit doesn't get hurt last year, Henry, who knows? Remember, he went down. So, but those are the favorites, and they should be. I think you got the I think the quarterback in Buffalo is way better than Stafford. But I think the defense of the Rams is better. It's just better. It's a better defense. The Bills is good though too. So what a good game it should be.
Yeah.
If all I got to say is this: either fan base of either team shouldn't get too upset as long as everyone's healthy at the end, because it really isn't going to mean a hell of a lot. And it won't in the end either because it's non-conference. All right, so that's it, Robin. Thank you for the questions. And thank you to my guest, who we'll see again, John Suchan. And reminding about him, he writes for FanSided, Dog Pound Daily, the King James Gospel, which is about basketball. 30,000 followers on Facebook for that. ClevelandSportsTalk.com, his own podcast, Johnny Cleveland Podcast. Find it anywhere you find your podcast. Tomorrow, big day, as jumping Jim Brunzell, one half of the Killer Bees, will be with Charlie Turner and Chris DiCarlo as Falls Count Anywhere keeps on mowing along. We got some new openings, as you saw, for these shows as we try to revamp ourselves. Monday, Citizens United with me and Noel will be there, and everybody else. If you have any ideas, anything you want to talk about, especially because it's very local for you people in Western New York and stuff, Niagara Falls, Niagara County, just let me know if there's something you'd like to discuss, or if you want to be a part of the show. Robin's show, Robin Live, is been doing really well, talking about national stuff. I think that's where she's headed. I mean, of course, there'll be the time where there'll be a local thing that just needs to be talked about. But had great responses yesterday. We saw new people watching, which is really good.
Yeah.
So that's your lineup, and we'll be back next week. I know for sure. Thank you, Don. I know for sure that we will have Scott back next week.
Yeah.
For this show, and maybe Julio, who knows. Here's another thing. Please don't forget to like us on Facebook. If you haven't already, please give us a like. YouTube is Friends Media Network. That is where you can see all of our shows. They're all there. They get uploaded pretty quickly. So go to Friends Media Network on YouTube. Twitter at GoalGettersS2 is where you can find Goal Getters. And you can talk with me most of the time. So that's what I have. I'm on there. The other guys don't go on. So, yeah, I'd love to speak. That's all I do.
Yeah.
To speak. I want to remind everyone, too, about a couple things. We didn't get the phone number for Rain. It's RAINN.
Right.
If you RAINN, we'll have it next week. That is for what we're all about here, as you know, is sexual assault survivors and all that. That's where you go nationwide. The YWCA is in your county, wherever you are, and they're incredible. But Rain is the place where Robin originally called that got her to the YWCA. So look up the number for Rain, please. We'll put it up next week for sure. The last thing and a very important thing is the 988 number. Suicide and crisis life.
Yeah.
Please, if you ever are feeling that way, call. These people are there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they are just it's all anonymous. They're never going to tell anybody. So just don't ever think you don't have any.
And, I mean, it's good to remember the number. You never know when you might be in crisis or know someone in crisis. Remember the 988 number.
Yeah, definitely. Man, I don't like people. Well, that's it. I guess we'll wrap it up for tonight. Remember, Michigan State is on right now. Yankees game is big against Tampa in this series that's coming up. And, yeah, we'll be back next week with another edition of this, Goal Getters. Take care, everyone.
Thank you for watching. If you liked our video, then click the like button below and the subscribe button to be notified when a new video is uploaded. Here are some of our other videos. Remember to leave a comment below.